Right edition. Welcome. Happy day. Big government is not a necessary evil, but big government is evil. Just share it with you. I want you all to know that. In 1882, we're going back in history today, Jesse James, he was murdered by Robert Ford. Ford and his accomplice brother were indicted, pleaded guilty, and were sentenced to death by hanging. And 2 hours later, the governor of Missouri stepped up and said, hey, I'm here, and I'm going to pardon you. And pardon them, he did. And they went on to benefit somewhat from their deed. They had shows and in theaters and different things and portrayed the killing of the famous outlaw. You know what? Do you think that it's right? Even back then, I mean, I'm kind of rehashing history here, I know it, but for a governor to get involved in the life and or death of a private citizen is supposed to be up to the courts. Here's a guy that did that, though, and to this day, we are startled by elected goofs, politicians, you know what? They actually collectively steal more than the James Gang ever did. Just saying, there is much unemployment in the land. I want you to check out the U.S. national debt clock. We're going to go full screen here. I'll be gone here. Have a look. You see, Obama is working, though, and a fine job he's doing to screwing up the country when nobody else can seem to get a job in Canada. The senators there now are spending all of their time. It's a good thing this has happened, this being the scandal with all the Senate expense accounts and senators stealing and not showing up to work and getting paid forever and cha-cha, right? But it's a good thing because otherwise they'd have nothing to do. So they're guarding themselves, they're looking after themselves, they're having meetings amongst themselves to decide about what they have done and shouldn't do in the future and so on. I mean, I'm specifically referring now to Pamela Wallin. She's been ordered to pay back an additional $17,000. It's now upwards to about $140,000. And the Senate and senators, they're, checking all of this. Their auditors, these are people that can't even show up to work in time. And by the way, when they do come to work, what is that work? What's the job? What do they do? Nobody seems to know. And it's kind of like hens and foxes and chickens. And well, you know that story. Hey, Canada, the land of choice. A woman has a choice to take a life, abortion. No one has a choice to save a life, self-defense. Criminals choose gun control. It makes for a work-safe environment. You think there's something wrong with that picture? Government, get on it. Better yet, public, get on the government so they can fix it. It's the only country in the free world where it's against the law. I think the only country, let me pause there with a moment of silence, it's probably not quite accurate. I guess England's one of them as well, huh? And maybe even Australia now, but they're all catching on because they've looked at the stats and more guns equals less crime. That's just the kind of the way it is. But in Canada, you can't defend your life. I mean, it's against the law. You can have big bad guys threatening you and chasing you. They can even come to your place and shoot at you, and you can go to the police the next day and say, can I have a gun permit? I'm trained. I want to look after my life. And they'll say, no, sorry. When they kill you, have them call us so we can come and do the measurements. Huh? That was not very nice. If you're being stripped of the ability to defend yourself, it makes you more safe, according to the Canadian government. You know what? You might be just ran by a bunch of idiots in that country. Do you think just sharing again, a wonderful state, that would be Illinois. There's zero Republicans elected in that state. They're all Democrats. There are more people on welfare in Illinois than there are people working. Chicago pays the highest wages to teachers than anywhere else in the U.S., averaging $110,000 a year. There's a whole list of things going on in Illinois, but $110,000 a year, that works out somewhere probably in the neighborhood of $300 an hour. And these are people you can't fire. You can't even hire them particularly. They just kind of get there because I know this person and somebody else knows someone else, and you can't get rid of them, and they don't teach anything of value. Obviously not, because you've got the strictest gun control laws in the nation in Chicago. You have had over the years, and there's more murders there than Vietnam when the war was going on, pretty much. And so obviously the teachers aren't doing a lot of good. Parents either, for that matter. I get it. I voted. Here's a joke here coming at you. You ready? It's not really a joke. It's not in our joke section. This is a reality thing happening, but here it is. I voted for Obama. He's from Chicago because he's black. I'm so proud that we have a black president. Having a black president is real progress. Having a black president is a victory for diversity. And then another man comes up and says, hey, what about the deficit, unemployment, and the gas prices, immigration crisis, and the gun thing, and this and that? And he had a long list, and she looked at him and finally said, hey, you're just a racist. Don't interfere or interrupt my talk with facts and reality. Duh. Okay, let me end today with a real joke. Are you ready? The sign in the back of another septic tank truck said this: "Caution, this truck is full of political promises." You can get more. We'll get more for you from the right. See ya.